What's your favorite thing about swimmingly?
Combining events is actually really awesome. The fact that you can combine on the fly, and it
Yeah.
doesn't even really matter if you make a mistake because you can still drag and drop them all in there. Because summer swim, again, we're trying to keep it to a short period of time. So being able to smash a bunch of things together. Declaring swimmers is super easy. A 15 to 18 relay fit, you're like putting an eighth grader or 8-year-old in there. It's super easy to do that.
So, can you tell me a little about your team and league and like your role with it?
Oh, I've been the league president for the last like 3 out of 5 years, I think, or 6 years. We have about 600 swimmers right now. Before the pandemic, we were at about 900. But with the pandemic and then that demographic cliff, right, where there's just not as many, ever since the 2008 recession, birth rates plummeted. There's just
Yeah.
not as many swimmers out there in the age groups that we do anymore. And then I help run one of the teams. We have 11 teams right now.
What challenges were you facing with your old system?
Getting somebody who knows how to do meet manager is such a pain, right? The meet manager is like, right. Well, for USA Swimming, we have to actually apprentice, right, to be an administrative official and actually be taught how to use it and all that. That's just way too much to expect from parents in summer swim, especially with fewer kids. That means fewer parents. So there's a really good chance that a team really has no idea what they're doing when it comes to swimming. So getting them to do a laptop during a swim meet is just not going to happen.
What are the top three pain points that swimmingly addresses?
Oh, no, it actually reduces the number of people who are necessary on deck to make a swim meet run, right? You don't, the runners, there's no paper. So it's not nearly as crowded. And that was actually really important when we were coming out of the pandemic and everyone was still a little weirded out by having, a pool deck with hundreds of people on it. It does make it a little easier. Since we just usually run 2 timers behind each lane, it's not that bad. It also addresses the whole, you don't have to know meet manager, right? It's just on an iPad. That's really nice. And the fact that you can now start dragging and dropping entries that are in the wrong event, that was a lifesaver because that was probably our biggest complaint up until now was just when people, especially with swimmingly and with summer swim, you're going to be much more forgiving of a swimmer who misses their event because there's a really good chance that they're young. There's a really good chance they're crying and you don't want to make that any worse. So like you're going to get that kid to swim. It doesn't matter as long as they're swimming the same length. There's really no confusion as long as the timer's at the right end of the pool. You can just throw a kid in and being able to drag and drop them now is so much easier than when we used to have to like create a fake entry and then copy and paste their times. That was a huge pain. So that was the big thing is it's really flexible. That's the third thing that, meet manager is not flexible and pieces of paper with names, not flexible.
Do you happen to know like an estimate of the number of volunteers you had when you were on Meet Manager versus now on Meet Manager?
Yeah, maybe 4 more. Because usually there's somebody on the computer, but that's also synonymous with somebody on the iPad. But then there's the runners. Then there's also head timer. So maybe 4 more when you use Meet Manager.
So when you guys did transition to swimmingly, how was that for you?
So it was a little tricky at first, but also we realized we were pretty committed at first because really no one wants to go back to stopwatches, not for summer swim. It's slowly gotten better and better to where like our commitment level has gotten better and better every year where it's just like, yeah, there's really no way we're going back now. Like, oh, now we're really, really not going back. Getting parents to learn something new is always hard, but because it's summer swim, it's not like they're used to plungers and touch pads and things like that because most of them are new parents anyway. So you have to teach them something. And so teaching them their phones, that's actually helpful.
Do you know like any length of meets? Like, has it reduced the amount of time you're spending prepping for meets and stuff like that?
Outside prep has really reduced because it is super easy. Like declaring swimmers is super easy and selecting them. And I really like how it keeps really good easy track of 3 individual events, 1 relay event, and it tells you, and it would be really cool if it flagged someone who went over your thresholds, like in red or something like that. I would love that. It is super easy. It's much easier, especially in summer swim. You want to maximize everybody swimming. And so you're fooling around with relays and things like that. And we allow younger kids to swim up into the older kids' relays. So now you're putting like, to make a 15 to 18 relay fit, you're like putting an 8th grade or 8-year-old in there. It's super easy to do that. And so we really like that.
What's your favorite thing about swimmingly?
Honestly, for me, it's the declarations.
Okay.
like actually declaring swimmers and getting them into all of their events, it's super easy. Again, because at summer swim, we're always trying to maximize coverage and get everybody in events. It is super, super easy to do that, where you can, make sure that everybody is covered and included. And the fact that, next to everybody's name, it says like, so our rules are 3-1, 3 individuals, 1 relay. It's nice in parentheses, like it tells you how many do they have. And it's like, you can go down your list, be like, okay, if somebody's got a 2-1, let's find another individual event for them. So that's really nice. It is nice too, because parents all have it on their phone.
Yeah.
They have no real excuses, right? It's just like, just tap. And the fact that even if they miss tap, they can just retap and it's still going.
Yeah.
That's huge, right? Whereas a stopwatch, if they miss tap, they're done.
And then what advice do you have for others considering swimming? Like
Practice, especially the scorekeeper. The scorekeeper and the starter need practice, because if they go into it not knowing what they're doing, especially if they're trying to combine, that's the other great thing. Okay, combining events is actually really awesome. The fact that you can combine on the fly, and it doesn't even really matter if you make a mistake, because you can still drag and drop them all in there, because summer swim, again, we're trying to keep it to a short period of time. So being able to smash a bunch of things together is great.